Good afternoon and welcome to For the Record on Evolution 1079. I'm Allison Riley. Vancouver has been known as Hollywood North for quite some time. However, in recent years, the industry has slowed down. Now it would seem that the industry is picking back up with big A-list stars like Tom Cruise filming here, as well as many successful TV shows. My guest today has seen the industry from all angles, as an actor, producer, director, and acting coach. She's appeared in numerous film and TV projects and was nominated for a Leo for Best Actress. She was also featured in Entertainment Weekly as a breakout actress. Now she has just launched her first book, Act, a step-by-step guide to starting your acting career. I'd like to welcome to the show Ingrid Torrance. Welcome, Ingrid.
Hi, thank you.
Thanks for being on the show today.
No problem. How are you?
Good, thanks.
Good.
So, Ingrid, there are a lot of people who move to Vancouver with the dream of working in the film industry. Now, can you tell us how you got your start?
Well, I was already living here. I was born and raised in Vancouver, and I was fortunate enough to go to a high school that was had a very prominent arts department. We had a musical theater department, a drama department, and I just gravitated there naturally. And but the funny thing was, I never thought of it as a career. No one had ever really spoken to me about acting as a career. So I planned on going to university, and things just didn't work out that way. And I took some time out, and it never seemed to fail. Between modeling and doing commercials, I just ended up right back in front of a casting director every time. So eventually I just decided to give it a go. I had nothing to lose. I was in my early 20s and nothing really committed to, and it didn't seem like a big risk, I guess. And I learned since high school that you could actually, make a career of this. So I started out, and I was very fortunate within the first year of kind of, getting my agent and my headshots and all those things you do when you first start out. I was very, very fortunate to start working, and I've never stopped since.
That's great.
Mm-hmm.
And so you've had a very successful career, obviously. I mean, a lot of actors don't work steadily, especially here in Vancouver. Now, what was your most memorable or most fulfilling project that you've worked on, would you say, in your whole career?
It's so hard because it always seems like the last project you worked on was the most fulfilling project.
Right.
They're fulfilling on different levels. I mean, there's, when I did Fringe, emotionally, that was the most fulfilling because I really had to tap into something really kind of deep and
What kind of part was that?
It was a guest star on Fringe. She's a very well-off woman, and her husband has passed away, and her child is dying. He's a bubble child, essentially. His immune system is given out, and I was doing some illegal activities to keep him alive. So, it's that when you get as an artist, when you get an opportunity to tap into a level that, that really takes some digging at, that gives you one sort of type of, that's so rewarding on one level. But I think overall, there's been two others that have really stood out. I did a trilogy called Christie, and that had me suggested for an Emmy, and now I'm a voting member I'm on the jury for Emmys because of that. That was just between the cast and the crew and being up in Bordertown, with the horses and doing a period piece and having to do an accent, and the character was so lovely, and she'd had a life before. There was a TV series before. So there was that, and then there was the work I did for NBC for a year, where I was their spokesperson for a year, and I got to fly around all over the place. And, that was just an absolute blast. So there are always different reasons for them being rewarding, but those are three there.
Okay, and you've also been quite busy as an acting coach around Vancouver. And so how do you coach someone to act? How do you do that?
Oy, that's different. There's a real difference between teaching someone and coaching someone. When I'm coaching, which is what your question was,
okay,
it's not the same thing as teaching someone to act. Basically, coaching has an end result goal. Someone's got an audition, or they've got a show that they just booked, and they want to. They've already made decisions. They've already done a lot of their work. And they would come to me for fine-tuning, seeing if they missed something or if there was a deeper level to get to. Or perhaps they're having an issue with something and they're needing somebody else's eyes or intuition to help them through that issue. So I really like coaching because there's, I'm very goal-oriented, so there's a goal to reach, and you definitely reach it. So coaching for me is very fulfilling that way. And then I get to do it on set as well, which is really fun.
Now, and you also teach beginner actors as well. And do you think anyone can act, or do you think it's kind of something you're born with?
I think that's a really interesting question because I know people that have, no training and they have full-time careers as an actor. And so I would say that was just a natural ability they had. But at the same time, I've seen people that, started out with absolutely no background in acting and they've taken classes and they've learned a skill. I think that we all, as humans, have an ability to be artists. I just think that's a natural trait somewhere. Whether it's more on the surface or it's a little deeper is dependent on how you've lived your life. And then it's just a matter of tapping into that. But I think it's there for everybody. Whether it's a career or not for everybody is not up to me or even sometimes you. I've seen very talented people, just not get careers out of this, and other people have. So it's, that's kind of left up to the stars, I guess.
And you mentioned that you do coaching for actors on sets. Mm-hmm. And as I said, newer actors often look to coaches for training. But I think a lot of people might be surprised to hear that professional actors already working on set seek out coaching. And why do you think that is?
Oh, gosh, absolutely. I mean, I think Halle Berry even was very vocal about the training she got for, her Oscar win, that film that she did. So, Monsters Ball. I think that, when you go to LA, it's just a different vibe. I mean, acting coaching doesn't mean that you're new. And certainly class doesn't mean that you're new. I think everybody just studies because there's always a deeper level to get. There's always something more you can pull out. There's always somewhere farther to go. It's not like building a house. When it's done, it's done. It's like you're always sort of adding to it. It's such a great industry that way and such a great craft that way. So I think that often I'll get called to set to coach for a bunch of different reasons, and it depends. If it's the actor, it's usually for that reason. I want to go deeper. I want to give a stronger performance than what I know I'm doing, or I'm having troubles with this area. And sometimes production will call me, or directors will call me because of totally different issues. Sometimes there's a technical issue. If you're an actor and you've had certain types of roles your whole life, and now you've got something that really challenges you. It's like working out. If you've never worked your bicep muscle, you've only worked your legs, then your bicep muscles need training. So, there's always a different reason I'll get called to set. But you'd be surprised how many, I guess, really famous people would get coaching because you're never done. You never wake up one day and go, okay, I've learned everything there is and I could do anything. There's always somewhere else to go. And I think that's what you see really famous actors challenging themselves with really emotional roles is you're always yearning to go to some place you're not quite